Understanding leg cramps, top causes and cures for seniors, science-backed. When the video started, I felt like the speaker really understood what I've been going through. The way they described that 2 a.m. cramp, it gave me chills. It was exactly how it happens to me. I liked that it didn't sound like a doctor lecturing me. It was more like someone sitting next to me saying, "Hey, let's figure this out together." That made me feel safe. I appreciated how they explained hydration and minerals without making it complicated. And I loved the story about Frank. It made me smile. It reminded me of my husband and his tomatoes out back. The pace was gentle, not too fast, not too slow, and I liked that it didn't try to scare me, just showed me things I could actually do. When they mentioned some causes might be in your medicine cabinet, that got my attention. I actually paused the video to think about what pills I've been taking lately. That was powerful. Yes, I watched to the end, and I'll definitely watch the next part. It felt like someone finally sees what I've been dealing with quietly for years. Martha, retired teacher and early viewer of this video. And honestly, that's exactly why we made this. If you've ever been yanked out of deep sleep by a sharp, twisting pain in your leg, if you've rubbed your calf in the dark, whispering through clenched teeth, "Not again." If you've wondered, is this just what happens now after 60? Then, this video is for you. Because no leg cramps are not just part of getting older. They're not some random punishment for enjoying your day. They're a message. And once we learn how to listen to that message, the relief isn't just possible, it's often surprisingly simple. So let me ask you this. What if the real reason behind your cramps is something as simple as what's missing from your glass today? Let's not start with a list, but with something more personal. A story that might sound a lot like yours. Because for many of us, the pain doesn't start in the muscle, it starts in the quiet places we've overlooked. Hydration. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Oh boy, another person telling me to drink more water. But this is different. As we age, our thirst reflex weakens. We don't feel thirsty the way we used to. Add in medications like diuretics or blood pressure pills, and suddenly our bodies are drying out without us even noticing. Until 2 a.m. Until that cramp. Muscles need hydration to function. But more than that, they need electrolytes, minerals that work like the spark plugs of your system. And when those get low, your muscles tighten, spasm, and scream. The three main players: magnesium, potassium, and calcium. Magnesium helps muscles relax after contracting. Potassium supports smooth movement and heart rhythm. Calcium works deep in the muscle fibers to help with coordination and strength. And here's something surprising: you could be eating a fairly healthy diet and still not get enough of these. Why? Because modern soil has been stripped of natural minerals. Even a big bowl of spinach or a ripe banana might not give you what it used to. But don't worry, you don't need a cupboard full of pills. Just a few small, delicious upgrades. A handful of almonds in the afternoon, a banana with breakfast, some sardines on whole grain toast or in a salad, dark leafy greens tossed in olive oil, a sprinkle of pumpkin seeds on your soup or cereal. Even dark chocolate, yes, really, is rich in magnesium. And if you've had a particularly warm day or just finished a walk, try adding a sugar-free electrolyte drop to your water. It could make all the difference by bedtime. Which brings me to the next surprising cause. Sometimes, it's not what we lack, but what we suddenly ask of our body. Maybe you've been sitting more lately, the weather's been off, or your energy's been low. Then one day, you feel good, and you go for a long walk, clean the garage, garden for a few hours. It feels great. Until that night, when the cramp strikes again. Sound familiar? That's not your body punishing you. That's your muscles waking up and they're a little shocked. It doesn't mean stop. It means go gently, but go more often. Frank, a 74-year-old retired mechanic, started gardening again this spring. The first week, he had cramps nearly every night. But instead of giving up, he made a few small changes. He stretched his legs before bed. He swapped afternoon crackers for a banana and almonds. He drank a bit more water, with a pinch of sea salt. 2 weeks later, the cramps were gone, and his roses in full bloom. Frank didn't need a big change, just consistency. Sometimes, your body's not breaking down. It's just begging to be used again. And the beauty is, when we listen, really listen, the pain can fade. Now, hydration, minerals, and movement are 3 powerful causes and cures, but they're not the only one. So grab a glass of water, stretch those toes, and take a deep breath. You're doing something good for yourself right now. You know what's tricky? Sometimes the cause of leg cramps isn't something you forgot to do. It's something you've been told to do every single day. Something small, a pill, a routine, something you've taken for years because someone in a white coat said, "This will help." And maybe it is helping. But here's the part we don't always talk about. What if it's helping one thing while quietly hurting another? Let me tell you about James. James is 70, retired firefighter, tough guy, no complaints, but for 2 years, he's had leg cramps almost every other night. Tried everything: water, stretching, magnesium, even took a yoga class, which, for James, was saying something. Nothing helped. Then one day, while reading about side effects of medications, something clicked. James realized he'd started taking a statin drug about 2 years ago, same time the cramps began. He brought it up to his doctor. They tried a different brand. Still cramp. Eventually, they adjusted the dose, and just like that, the cramps eased. Not everyone reacts the same way to meds, but James's story is far from rare. Let's take a moment to look inside the medicine cabinet, not with fear, but with curiosity. Because sometimes the things we trust most have hidden side effects. Not always loud, not always obvious, but real. Let's walk through a few common medications that may be linked to muscle cramp. Not to scare you, just to help you see the whole picture. Statins, they protect your heart. They lower cholesterol. But for some people, they come with a trade-off. Your heart feels safer, while your legs feel stiffer. It's like asking your body to carry a lighter burden and realizing your calves are carrying it all. Diuretics, called water pills, they help reduce pressure and fluid, but in doing so, they often flush away precious minerals like potassium and magnesium. The same minerals your muscles rely on to stay calm and coordinated. It's like draining the tub and forgetting the baby's still in it. Sleep aids and antihistamines, they help you rest. They ease your allergies. But they can dry out more than your sinuses. They dry the delicate balance inside your cells, leaving your muscles parched and reactive. Calm on the surface, tension underneath. SSRIs, antidepressants, medications like Celexa, Prozac, Zoloft. They gently guide your mind through heavy days. But over time, some people notice their body carrying tightness it never used to, especially at night. A key side effect, not always listed, but often felt. Osteoporosis treatments, like Forteo or Raloxifene. They rebuild bones, strengthen the invisible scaffolding inside you. But for some, they bring an unexpected tightness, a tension in the legs that doesn't match the promise on the bottle. Calcium channel blockers, often prescribed for high blood pressure. They adjust how calcium moves in and out of your cell, but they don't choose where that calcium goes. And if too much stays in your muscles, they can't relax. It's like the off switch is stuck and your muscles stay clenching long after the job is done. Now let's be clear. This doesn't mean these medications are bad. It means they deserve to be understood fully, because the same pill that helps your heart or your bones might be the one asking your legs to speak louder. So here's a simple, powerful thing you can do. Start a small log. Every time you have a cramp, jot it down. What time was it? Did you take any medication earlier? Yej. What were you doing that day? After a week or two, you might see a pattern. And that pattern? That's gold. It's something you can bring to your doctor, not just a complaint, but data. Most doctors want to help, but they need clues. You can give them those clues. Has a medication ever caused you a surprising side effect? If you feel safe sharing, drop it in the comment. Your story could help someone connect the dots they've been missing. Martha, the retired teacher from earlier, shared this. I thought my cramps were just age. I didn't realize my blood pressure pills were draining my potassium. After switching types, I finally slept through the night again. There's power in asking better questions, and even more power in knowing you're not crazy, lazy, or just unlucky. Because cramps don't just happen. They happen for something, and the more you pay attention, the more you take back control. So, what's in your medicine cabinet? Have you ever paused to wonder what each of those pills might be doing beyond their main purpose? This isn't about fear. It's about freedom. Freedom to speak up. Freedom to tweak, adjust, explore. Freedom to feel better, even if it's just by 10%. Because sometimes, 10% less pain is 90% more peace. Have you ever noticed a connection between your meds and muscle cramps? If it feels right, share your story in the comments. Not just for me, but for someone else scrolling tonight who's quietly wondering if they're the only one. Now that we've looked inside your medicine cabinet, let's look at something even quieter, your daily rhythm. Because what you don't do with your legs might matter more than you think. Somewhere along the way, we were told to slow down. Take it easy. Don't strain yourself. Let the younger ones handle it. And of course, there's wisdom in rest. But sometimes, we take that message too far. We rest so much, we stop moving altogether. And when we stop moving day after day, week after week, our muscles don't scream. They whisper. Then, they go quiet. Not dead, not weak, just quiet. And like any relationship, when the connection fades, misunderstanding shows up. For our bodies, that misunderstanding often comes in the form of leg cramps. Not because we did too much, but because we did nothing at all for too long. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you stretched your toes before bed? When was the last time your ankles made little circles in the air? Or your legs felt the sun outside, even for just a 5-minute stroll? For many of us, the couch has become a loyal friend. The chair by the window, the recliner with the softest cushion. We sit with good intentions, but our muscles, they were made to move. Not run marathons, not climb mountains. Just move gently, daily, lovingly. Here's a story for you. Eleanor is 76, lives alone, loves crosswords, old jazz records, and her porch swing. She told me, I thought I was just getting stiff from age. But then I realized I wasn't walking to the mailbox anymore. I wasn't gardening. I was mostly just sitting. Her leg cramps started after her knee surgery. She was told to take it easy, and she did, too well. Eventually, Eleanor started doing 5 slow laps around her living room every morning using the dining table as her track. She'd march in place during television commercials, stretch her calves while brushing her teeth. After 3 weeks, the cramps eased. Not gone entirely, but gentler, less often, less frightening, because her body wasn't confused anymore. It had found its rhythm again. That's what movement does. It reconnects us not only to our muscles, but to our own confidence. And the best part? You don't need a gym membership. You don't need fancy clothes. You don't even need to leave the house. You just need the will to begin. Try this. Before bedtime, gently pull your toes toward your knee and hold for 10 seconds. While watching television, rotate your ankles slowly in both directions. Stand up once an hour, take a few steps, roll your shoulders. Place a tennis ball under your foot and roll it side to side. It's like a massage for your leg. If that feels like too much today, start smaller. Just sit and breathe deeply for 1 minute, feeling your legs. That awareness alone can begin to soften the tension. It's not about fixing everything in a day. It's about showing your body, I'm still here with you. Because when we stop talking to our muscles, they start crying for attention. And cramps? That's just them raising their voice. Now, here's a little science to bring it home. When we're inactive for long periods, circulation slows. Blood flow to the lower limbs decreases. The muscles, especially in the calves and feet, receive less oxygen and fewer nutrients. Waste products build up. Nerve signals get sluggish. It's the perfect storm for a nighttime cramp. But with just a bit of movement, even simple calf pumps or ankle circles, blood flow increases again. Tissues get nourished. Nervous system wakes up. Communication is restored. Small motion, big ripple. And don't underestimate the emotional ripple too. Moving reminds us we're still capable, still connected, still allowed to take up space in our own life. Frank once said this after a week of regular walks. I didn't just get rid of the cramps, I got back parts of me I thought were gone. And Eleanor, now she's back in her garden, knees a little stiffer, but heart wide open. The tomatoes aren't perfect, but they're red, ripe, and real, just like her alive again in the sunlight. So here's a quiet challenge, just between us. Today, before you go to bed, stretch your legs. Even for 30 seconds, even in your chair, tell your muscles, I haven't forgotten you. And maybe, just maybe, they'll whisper back, thank you. Do you have a small movement or stretch that helps you feel better? Share it in the comments, even if it seems silly. Someone out there might need exactly that tip tonight. Now that we've reawakened the body, let's reframe the story. Because leg cramps aren't your enemy, they're your signal, and you've just learned to listen. You've come a long way, from that quiet 2 a.m. cramp that stole your sleep, to understanding that your body hasn't betrayed you, it's been trying to talk to you all along. Maybe it was whispering through dehydration, or signaling through missing minerals, or tensing up after a medication change, or simply asking, could we move a little more tomorrow? What matters now is that you heard it. You didn't brush it off as just age. You didn't settle. You stayed curious. And that, my friend, is how healing begins. Not always with a cure, but with a conversation. Because your body, it's not the enemy. It's your partner. It carries your story, your strength, your memories. And when it cramps, it's not punishing you. It's reaching out and saying, help me help you. Let me tell you about someone else. Carol, 81, lives in Oregon. She's been through chemo, hip surgery, and the quiet grief of losing her partner. She told me once, I used to think my leg cramps were life's way of saying, you're getting old. Now I see them as nudges, reminders to care, to pause, to check in. They don't scare me anymore. They wake me up literally and figuratively. Carol didn't find a magic fix. What she found was power, the kind of power that comes from listening. And maybe that's the quiet revolution we need after 60. Not trying to be younger, but trying to be in tune, more present, more gentle, more aware of the things we once ignored. The world might tell you, just stretch more, or take this pill. But deep down, you know this journey isn't just physical. It's emotional. It's personal. It's about reclaiming something we almost forgot we had. Agency. To say, I want to understand my body. I want to choose what I do with it. I want peace, not just pain relief. So here's what I hope you'll take from this. That a glass of water at the right moment isn't just hydration, it's self-care. That a banana or a square of dark chocolate can be medicine, too. That 5 minutes of movement might change the next 5 hours of sleep. That tracking your body's patterns can be more powerful than another prescription. And that your story, your gentle wins, your quiet strength, your slow healing might be exactly what someone else needs to hear tonight. If something in this video spoke to you, leave a comment. Not because the algorithm wants it, but because someone else might need to hear your story. And if you're ready to keep learning, keep growing, and keep healing, we'd love to have you subscribe. Not just to this channel, but to this season of light. Because aging, when done with intention, isn't a decline. It's a return to wisdom, to rhythm, to you. Take care of your body, and it will take care of your nights. Take care of your nights, and life starts to feel good again. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stretch gently, breathe deeply, and sleep well.